Jacob and I met in 2014. We met at my cousin Danny's high school graduation.
Yeah.
And Jacob and Danny were like the best of friends. And so I went to my cousin's graduation, and then I met Jacob.
Yeah. I mean, I thought she was out of my league, so I didn't even try to shoot my shot. But it wasn't until Danny was like, yo, I think one of my cousins is feeling you. And I was like, and the thing is, he tried to say it in passing, because we were at church, like, packing up something.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, by the way, da-da-da. And I was like, yo, whoa, like, slow down. You can't just say that and just continue. So he said something, and then I had to, look into it. And then, here we are.
We really met at Danny's house.
Yeah.
I was upstairs with my cousins. Me and my 3 cousins were all so bad. And then Jacob and his little brother at the bottom of the stairs. And like, we had come from like someone's room, and I was standing at the top and he was standing at the bottom, and like made eye contact. But honestly, I didn't really think anything of him until we actually spoke. And
so
then I
we
was
spoke.
like,
What happened was she needed to get some ice.
Yes.
For a drink, and their household, like, fridge was messed up, so you had to actually physically grab the ice. So she was trying to push the little thing on the fridge, and it wasn't working. So I was like, oh, I just went over there, helped her with the ice, and then that kind of like sparked the conversation.
It was love at first ice.
Yeah, you can call it that.
My first impression of Jacob was I didn't even do a double take. Like, I didn't think anything of him. Like, he was just a random guy, and he looked kind of nerdy.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I thought she was just out of my league, for real. So I didn't even want to
approach me.
Look, I don't like any trouble. And don't try it unless you know you're finna, make the shot. So I was just like, hey.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much our first impression.
Yeah, but I thought she was, really good looking, for sure. But I was just like, I didn't even want to try it, because I was like, nah, you know how this goes.
Exactly. Jacob is just very selfless. Like, he always makes sure his people are good before himself. He's always willing to sacrifice for me, for his family, for his friends. Anything that he has to do to make sure people around him are good, he always makes sure of it first. I just love that quality. He's just so selfless. There's so many things, but I think that's one of my favorite things for sure.
That's good. Thank you. I think, this, like you said, there's so many to list. But I think my favorite is just like how, like, she's so hospitable. And I say that in the sense of like, she's funny, but she also actually like genuinely cares. Like, she can light up her room when she walks up into it with different conversations, making people laugh, whatever it may be. But then outside of all the laughs, you have some moments outside of the laughs where you're kind of like, does this person really care about me for real? Like, she really does care about people on the other side of it too. So it's not just the laughs, it's more than that, it's actual love. So it's my favorite. I feel like it took a long time for us to kind of get to this. I feel like there were multiple points where things got rocky, things got good. So it always keeps you on your toes in terms of like, is this really it or is it not?
Yeah.
But I think my thing was, once I took it to prayer, I was able to get the confirmation I needed several times. So I would get the confirmation like the second time, the third time, and I'll still pray on it, but like, I need another confirmation. But it's like,
need more.
You get to a point where, God just gives you peace about the whole situation. And that's when I really knew that, she was, yeah.
Ooh, you said 2 things. Well, you said one that sparked something, but then you said something else that reminded me. But I think I knew that Jacob was the one for me when I realized that he was always pushing me towards God, like constantly. Like, he was always making sure I was pursuing God while he was pursuing me, and it was just something that just felt right. Like, I can't explain it. Like, when I met Jacob, I was 15 years old. So like, I had a relationship with God. Like, I went to church with my family, but I didn't really have like a relationship with God like Jacob did, because his dad was, in the church and an elder and stuff like that. So he kind of showed me what that life was like, and showed me like, it's not what people make it seem to be. Like, you can make your relationship with God whatever you want it to be. And he always like reminded me of that and pushed me towards God. So it was that for number 1. And then number 2, he said something about peace. Like in the middle kind of years of our relationship, I was just like, he's the only person I've ever dated. I was like, there's just seriously dated. I was like, there's just no way that this person I seriously dated for the first time is the one for me. I was like, just absolutely no way. And I was just like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, people have to kiss like 10 frogs before they find their Prince Charming. How did I meet my Prince Charming on the first try? And I would just question that over and over again until one day, I just didn't question it anymore. And then I thought back like, wow, I can't believe I used to think that. Like, I just felt peace. Like, I can't explain it.
You know, everyone has their own love story. So it's hard to kind of like think that you're gonna fit into that box.
Exactly.
When you don't even know what the future lies. You know, only God knows what's ahead of you. So if you really look towards Him, He'll help you, you know, figure out what your story is and not what everybody else's story is. So stick to it. Stick to Him.
When it came to like the proposal and the engagement, like Jacob and I have been together for so long, like going on like 9 years. So we always talked about marriage and stuff, but it wasn't until like the last year and a half when he was like, I'm going to marry you, like these are my plans. And so 6 months before the actual proposal, his family met with my family and basically was like, our son wants to marry your daughter.
Yeah, like a pre-knocking.
A pre-knocking, not
informal.
like an informal thing.
Conversation.
And then around the time of the actual knocking that we had planned, so we had planned the knocking to be on a Saturday, and my parents flew in town on that Friday for that knocking on the next day. JB was like, oh, our families are gonna go to a really nice dinner, and he was trying to tell me what to wear and stuff, and like, I would send him a dress and he'd be like, oh, what about this dress? And like hinting at me to wear like a really nice dress. Yeah. And then little by little, I was just like, is it gonna happen? And I was like, no, it can't happen because the knocking is not till Saturday and it's only Friday. And then eventually we were on our way to the dinner, and then his sister called and was like, oh, mom left her wallet at home. Can you please pick it up and take it to her at the dinner? And so we stopped at the house and he went inside to grab the wallet. And then his sister called me and was like, oh, I need some help with my hair. Can you come inside and help me? I didn't really think anything of it because I do that kind of stuff for his little sisters all the time. Yeah. And so I went in there and then like I saw like the lights and stuff, and then
yeah, that's crazy.
You proposed.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. I was like, cause we're always, like we're around each other a lot.
All
we
the
talk
time.
a lot. So it was tough for me to kind of like plan that, but not break my daily regimen. Because if I break that, then she's gonna be like
suspicious.
Exactly, like my time with her that I used to always spend with her, I'm putting it towards something else.
Yes.
She'll be like, what's going on? So
and sorry, I don't hate to cut you off, but I'm always over his shoulder and looking at his phone and stuff. The fact that I saw no messages, like no nothing, it was to the point I was like, this guy is joking, like he's not.
Yeah, she didn't think I was doing it.
I was getting so annoyed, like tears, like y'all, it was rough.
She was like, you need to start planning. Have you even started planning? And I have for real not started planning though, I'm not gonna lie. But it was literally like I had a conversation with my parents and stuff like that. And then I just had to get, you know, other things lined up with the church and stuff. And then once I got to go, I was just like, I'm in on the mission. So I had to put together everything. And I tried to do it as quick as I could. Right? 2 weeks, yeah, I did it in 2 weeks. Got all her friends, her family and stuff together. Got the ring and all that stuff together too. I even was on the phone with her before I stepped into the ring shop to get the ring, and she had no idea. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna call you back. And I just went in there, got the ring.
You're bad.
Yeah.
But honestly, the fact that he did all these things like behind my back per se, it makes me love him more. Yeah. Like the attention to detail is always listening to what I like said, and like he always heard like my dream proposal and he literally executed it to the T.
And I add my own little flavor in there. It's not just about you. I just had to say that. But you know.
But that's pretty much it. Living together, like waking up next to him. Like that type of companionship is, just can't wait.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, when you're dating versus married, like
two different things.
Yeah, it's not even like you get respected more, but it's like there's a different light on you. Because if you're dating and you're outside, you know, you're holding hands, sometimes people kind of be like, you know, looking at you some way, especially like African culture, like people are just like, hey, you know, you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing, even though that's not the case.
Yeah.
But now that you're married, you know, it's easy to be out and, you know, be showing, you know, each other affection and stuff like that without people like side-eyeing you. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that, the travel, other things that we don't need to talk about. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to everything. I'll definitely say that everybody's love journey is different. And it's like, it's so easy to let like the love that hurt you in the past, like affect your future. Love like negatively. I feel like it should always try to be, you always want it to be positive, but it's easy for the negatives to kind of mix in there.
Yeah.
So just, pray, ask God for wisdom, and try to like separate the good from the bad in terms of your lessons, just so you don't shut out a blessing that's supposed to be coming in.
That's right.
And then another thing is like cliches, don't get too caught up in them. Like some of the things that I have done for her, like sometimes I will remember myself in the past being like, bro, I would never do this. If some shorty did this to me, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
But it's like, when it gets to the point where you really love them, is there really anything that they can do to separate, your love from them?
Yeah, that's good. And then I think I would just say, like, kind of piggybacking off of what he said with the whole cliche things, like this whole, I don't know if people still say this, but like the whole couple goals thing. I don't know, I just feel like sometimes it's really unrealistic. Like, people may look at us and say like, oh my gosh, they've been together for so long, like I want that type of love, but baby, it was hard and we went through a lot. And so just you don't always have to look at a couple and be like, I want that. Like Jacob said, everyone's love story is different, and God's gonna write yours perfectly.
Exactly. So. Yeah, and then I would definitely add that, like, in terms of taking the step from going like to dating into marriage, at least for like a man's perspective, I would say you gotta love the shorty the way God loves you. Like that's the biggest thing. Like, there was a point where she had done something to me, and I sat there and I was like, I realized the way I forgave her made me realize there's literally nothing that this girl can do that would make me stop loving her. Like, not in a toxic way, like I'm staying like no matter what type, but it was like, it was like that Christ-like love. Like, of course, being led by God, being led by His Spirit. Like, I was like, yeah, this is it. That's when I knew. That was really when I knew.
Aww.
Yeah, that's a lot, but yeah.
My best friend.
Yeah. Now we're engaged. Show me the ring.